Joy arrived before you did. It was already here when you took your first breath, already woven into the fabric of the life you were about to live, already the ground frequency of the world you were born into. You did not have to earn it. You did not have to understand it. You did not have to do anything at all. You simply arrived, and joy was already present, the way light is already present when a window opens. And then, somewhere along the way, a story began. A very human, very understandable, very universal story. The story that joy is a destination, that it lives on the other side of something. On the other side of the achievement, the relationship, the healing, the accumulation of enough of whatever it is you have decided you need more of. That it is a reward waiting at the end of a road you have not quite finished walking. And so the search began. But here is what you are going to feel today. Not just understand, but feel in the most immediate and undeniable way. That the search was always happening inside the very thing it was looking for. You were swimming in joy while looking for water. And now you get to stop swimming and simply float. Welcome. Welcome to your original nature. Welcome to the recognition that what you were always looking for was always already completely looking back. And think for a moment about the times in your life when joy arrived without warning. Not the joy you planned for and worked toward and finally got. The other kind, the kind that ambushed you, the kind that arrived in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday with no reason and no announcement. A piece of music through an open car window, the particular quality of light on a wall at 4 p.m, a smell that carried you instantly to somewhere safe and warm and completely, inexplicably whole. In those moments, nothing in your external life had changed. The circumstances were exactly the same before the joy arrived as they were after it left. The problems were still there. The to-do list was unchanged. The things you had decided needed to be different before you could be happy were all still exactly as they were. And yet for a moment, for that brief, luminous, absolutely real moment, you were completely, entirely, unconditionally happy. Not because anything was given to you, because something was momentarily uncovered. The layer of thinking that usually sits between you and your own natural joy lifted for just a second, like clouds parting, and what was underneath was not emptiness and not neutrality and not absence of feeling. It was this warmth, this aliveness, this completely effortless, completely free, completely available sense of being glad to be here, glad to be alive, glad to be exactly this consciousness in exactly this moment. That is your original nature. That is the frequency you were born from. And it has not gone anywhere. Here is the extraordinary thing about joy that almost no one talks about. Real joy. The kind that lives underneath all the temporary happiness and temporary sadness and all the weather of a human life. Real joy is not an emotion. Emotions move through you. They rise, they peak, they fall, they transform into something else. They are the clouds. They are the weather. They are real and they are meant to be fully, beautifully, completely felt. But joy is not the weather. Joy is the temperature of the sky itself. The natural warmth of awareness. The inherent quality of consciousness when it is simply being what it is without obstruction. Not performing happiness. Not generating positivity through effort. Just the baseline, fundamental, factory-setting nature of what it feels like to be alive and aware and present. Young children know this without knowing they know it. Before the world teaches them that joy must be earned and happiness must be justified and pleasure must be followed by guilt. Before all of that, a child's natural state is wonder, is delight, is a completely open, unconditional yes to the experience of being here. You were that child. That child is not gone. That child is not a memory. That child is the awareness that is reading these words right now still here, still open, still oriented toward joy as its most natural and comfortable home, still delighted by the world underneath every layer of everything that has been added on top. And what has been added on top? Mostly thinking. Mostly the habit of taking the present moment, which is always, by its very nature, perfectly and completely fine, and running it through the machinery of comparison, measuring it against how things used to be, or how you imagine they would be, or how they are for someone else whose life looks different from yours when observed from the outside. That machinery is tireless. It never takes a day off. It is always somewhere in the background, quietly generating the low hum of insufficiency, the persistent and completely fictitious sense that right now is not quite enough. But here is what is true. The machinery is not you. You are the awareness in which the machinery runs. And awareness, by its very nature, is not insufficient. Awareness does not have a problem. Awareness is not lacking anything. Awareness is the most complete, the most whole, the most fully realized thing that exists because it is the space in which everything exists. It is the container. It is the ground. It is what everything else is made of and what everything else returns to. And its natural texture. The feeling tone of simply being aware without adding anything and without taking anything away is joy. Quiet joy. Deep joy. Joy that does not need a reason because it is not a response to anything. It is simply what consciousness feels like when it rests in itself. Right now, in this moment, something is available to you. Not as a practice, not as something you have to generate or manufacture or talk yourself into. Simply notice, without effort, without closing your eyes, without changing anything about how you are right now. Simply notice that being here feels okay. Not okay the way things are okay when they are tolerable. Okay the way a summer morning is okay. The way the first sip of something warm is okay. The way the exact right song at the exact right moment is okay. Fundamentally, unreasonably, quietly okay. There is something in being alive right now. Something in the simple, bare fact of awareness occurring, of experience happening, of you being here to receive this moment, that carries within it a warmth that nothing put there. It was already there. It is the texture of existence itself. Feel into that for a moment. Not into a thought about it, into the direct, immediate, physical sense of it. The aliveness in your hands right now. The fact that your heart is beating without you asking it to. The fact that this moment is happening. That you are here, awake, receiving. And that there is something in that simple fact that is not neutral, not indifferent, not blank. There is something in it that is quietly, fundamentally, completely glad. That gladness is joy, and it is yours. Not because you earned it today, because it is what you are made of. This is where something practical and beautiful becomes clear. The moments in your life when you felt most joyful were not moments when something was added to you. They were moments when something fell away, when the thinking paused, when the comparing stopped, when the machinery of insufficiency went quiet for a moment and what was left. What was always there underneath was simply this aliveness, this warmth, this completely effortless, completely unconditional sense of being exactly where you were supposed to be, exactly who you were supposed to be, in exactly the right moment. Every human being who has ever lived has touched this. In laughter so deep it emptied you out completely and left only light. In music that bypassed your thinking mind entirely and landed straight in your chest. In nature so beautiful it stopped the story of you for just a moment and replaced it with pure experience. In love so immediate and so real that the boundary between you and another person became something more like a suggestion than a wall. In all of those moments, joy was not given to you. It was revealed. The circumstances did not create the joy. They created the conditions for the thinking to pause. And when the thinking paused, joy, which was always there, always available, always the ground note of your existence, simply rose to the surface like something that had been held underwater, finally released. It rose because that is its nature. Joy rises. It is the natural direction of consciousness when nothing is pushing it down. And this means something extraordinary about your life. It means that joy is not something you have to create, not something you have to travel toward, not something that belongs to certain kinds of people or certain kinds of circumstances or certain kinds of days. It is the default. It is what is naturally, automatically, inevitably present in any moment when nothing is obstructing it. Which means your whole relationship with joy gets to change right now. Not through effort, through recognition. The recognition that you are not someone who is searching for joy. You are someone who is made of it. You are not outside looking in. You are inside always, and the inside is joy. And the only question that has ever been worth asking is simply this: what in me is covering it right now? Not to judge that thing, not to eliminate it through force, simply to see it clearly, to name it honestly, to allow awareness. Your awareness, vast and unconditional and completely capable of holding anything, to simply receive whatever is there. Because awareness does something extraordinary to everything it receives. It transforms it, not by fighting it, by including it, by being large enough that whatever is present, whatever heaviness or tightness or contracted feeling has been sitting between you and your own natural joy, simply has room to be there, and in having room, slowly begins to dissolve. Not because you dissolved it, because you stopped resisting it. And in that openness, in that effortless, spacious allowing, joy does what joy always does when given the chance. It rises, naturally, inevitably, completely on its own. There are people watching this right now who have not felt genuine joy in a long time. Not because they lost it, not because something in them is broken or insufficient or further from the truth than anyone else, but because the thinking got very loud and very consistent and very convincing, and it became genuinely difficult to feel the warmth underneath it. This is for you especially. You have not lost your joy. You cannot lose your joy any more than the sky can lose its nature by being overcast for a long season. The clouds are real. The heaviness is real. The difficulty of a hard chapter is completely, entirely, validly real. And underneath it, completely unchanged, absolutely intact, waiting with the patience of something that knows it is inevitable. Your joy is there. It has been there the entire time. It will be there when the clouds clear. It will be there as the clouds are clearing. It is, in fact, there right now. If you are willing to feel just slightly underneath the surface of whatever is present, into the ground of experience itself, into the simple warmth of being alive and aware in this moment, it is there. You are not far from it. You are it. This community, everyone who finds their way to this channel, to this particular frequency, is made up of people who know this somewhere inside themselves, who feel it even when they cannot articulate it, who are drawn to this kind of remembering because something in them recognizes what is being reflected back. And right now in the comments below this video, I want to genuinely celebrate that with you. Tell us what joy feels like for you. Not the performed version, the real one. The one that arrives without warning in the middle of an ordinary day and makes everything briefly, completely, inexplicably fine. One word, one memory, one moment. Because sharing that, Putting it outside of yourself, declaring it to this space, is itself a joyful act. It is consciousness celebrating itself. It is you saying, I know what I am made of, and I am not afraid to say so. And if this channel is a place where you want to return, if these transmissions feel like coming home, like the best kind of remembering, like a frequency you want woven into the regular rhythm of your life, then subscribing is a beautiful, joyful, completely self-honoring act. It is you saying yes to this, yes to remembering, yes to being reflected back to yourself in your wholeness, regularly, lovingly, without condition. This is what this channel is here to do. And you being here is exactly right. So let us arrive together at the simplest and most complete truth this video can offer. Joy is not waiting for you. It is not at the end of anything. It is not behind the achievement or inside the relationship or on the other side of the healing. It is not a reward, and it is not a destination, and it is not something that some people have access to and others do not. It is the texture of awareness itself. It is the warmth of consciousness simply being what it is. It is the ground note of existence. The frequency that was here before you arrived and will be here after this moment passes and is right now completely and entirely available in the simple, extraordinary, utterly ordinary fact of being alive and aware and present. You were born from joy. You are made of joy. And in your most awake, most open, most genuinely yourself moments, in the spaces between thoughts, in the laughter that empties you, in the music that bypasses your mind entirely, in the beauty that stops you completely still. You have always known this. You have always known. Today you simply get to rest in what you know, to stop searching, to stop earning, to simply open, even slightly, even for just this moment, to the warmth that has been here the entire time, underneath everything, in everything, as everything, yours, completely. Now, joy was never something that happened to you. It is something you are happening as. You were born from this, you have never left.